I'm gonna start in a bit, but let's see. It's supposed to be like 20 minutes from now, but I'll probably start earlier than that. Uh, Inktober. Yeah, it's coming up, huh? I never cared about it, so like I'll maybe do it if I don't forget. So yeah, I don't know. Wait, what does that have to do with Homestuck? But no, not really. I like porn. The secret for what? Yeah, I don't know where you get that information, but I'm glad it makes people want to draw. But yeah, that's actually a funny switch on content that I was thinking about, and it happened pretty recently. If you guys care, like I wanted to post more tutorials and stuff, but I decided not to post as much tutorials. And there's like, I swear it's not because I'm lazy. I mean, not fully, not entirely because I'm lazy. Like, a lot of people still ask for tutorial for some reason, but I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if it's useful. I'll start in a few minutes, but I'm still not 100% sure which reference I'm gonna study off, but it's gonna be one of the weeklies for week 25. Most likely cloth again. 'Cause I need to work on cloth a little bit more. I hope you're not talking to me. If so, you're probably in the wrong stream. Yeah, still. Yeah, I don't know. Art God is you're not. I know you're not talking to me. So Procreate or Photoshop, whichever you're comfortable with. So Procreate's on iPad as far as I know. And that's a smaller screen, so I'll never be able to use Procreate as my main software. Photoshop, I'm comfortable with it, and so is Clip Studio. They have each of them have their downsides and like pros and cons. I think Photoshop and Clip Studio is kind of even. I would say Photoshop have more pros than cons if we ignore the whole corporate issue. Oh, hi. Yeah, I got like recently I got more Patreon subs. I think it's because people want my brushes, and now I don't want people to be disappointed. Like after getting my brushes, like they would discover that they're just a bunch of bullshit brushes. I wouldn't say bullshit, just like very simple. You might as well just any other brush set. You would achieve the same things. So yeah, I wish I could play the Spotify playlist, but YouTube gets really angry when I do that on stream. So I default to MapleStory piano music now. This is not MapleStory, but it will be in a bit. Let me pull up my... And maybe I'll do this slightly more complicated study. I'm not sure. Or I'll do the pillow. Maybe I'll do a pillow. And then I can actually finish that on stream if I do the pillow. So Marcy, I have been doing art kind of for 16 years. I have this video about it, actually 2 videos about it that's on my channel if you want to take a look. Let me find it. Sure, probably most of you have seen it. I'm not sure. I'm assuming most of you here are subscribed or something. That's how you got here. Hold on. So, taking breaks. I don't take breaks because I find it pointless. I did take a 1 to 2 year break because I had too much work. I didn't have time to sleep, but if I have free time, I like to draw, so. So critiques I kind of offer for free on Discord. I like if I have time, I'll critique stuff, but then there's a bunch of people that can also critique really, like, about fundamental stuff pretty well, so they kind of just run the place. I'm kind of a visitor at this point, but there's quite a bit of resources on the Discord if you guys want to join. Art block. I'm not sure what art block is, so I can't help you there. Oh, so YouTube's pushing my stream for some reason, and this is the first thing they see when they come in, so I swear. Well, I mean, hmm. Yeah, I think using round brush only is a pretty good way to practice fundamentals, and you can practice fundamentals for a really long time and still not cap out on it. I would say I'm not capped out on fundamentals still after 16 years. And actually, it's like 4 years of solid, 3 or 4 years of solid, pretty focused grinding. Not optimized because I didn't know what I know now, so. But even with like a mentor or anything, if you take like the shortest path to training art, you can still do round brush for the entire, I don't know, 4-year duration. What do you mean chill? Like, this is not an FPS gaming stream, so I don't sound like I'm angry. Like, it's not, like, I think it's hard to not be chill if it's just an art stream. Yeah, feel free to throw any questions on the stream, whether now or later, because I'll probably be doing like a simpler study. I don't want the stream to be way too long. So, like I said, I got 2 brain cells and I probably just need to use 1 for the study today, so I can answer questions with my other free brain cell, yeah. The Inktober is kind of okay. Like, I don't completely hate drawing with lines. I just hate drawing clean lines for anime style. Sometimes I study from one source, sometimes multiple sources. But when it's multiple sources, usually I just make my own thing. I did traditional art for 0 years before going digital. I started with digital, basically. I did traditional, like, oil painting since, like, my first time doing oil painting was, like, 2 weeks ago. Started 2 weeks ago, so. And I have 1 painting in traditional, so. Yeah, I don't know what angry art stream is supposed to look like. What am I supposed to be angry at? Oh, I guess if you talk about like the controversial topics like AI and stuff and like art theft, yeah, sure, I guess it could be an angry art stream, but at that point it's not really an art stream anymore. You're just like a tea provider. Fundamental, Smigo, like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. I wrote a small thing, kind of like an essay thing on my Discord channel, so I won't go over that again because it's a pretty lengthy topic, like what is and how to approach fundamentals. Angry art. So there is such thing. If you look up angry or screaming at yellow paint, it's a Japanese guy, I think, that screams at yellow paint while he paints, just to, I don't know, infuse the emotion into the paint. It's on YouTube. You're welcome. So I've been streaming like 3 times a week now ish, and whenever I have time, but I stream on Discord for studies sometimes, and I don't talk in those because I try to approach harder studies. If I stream, it's gonna be on Discord because I don't have to pay attention to the chat. I need to actually focus on studying the stuff that's kind of near my skill level cap. That's, yeah, no way around that. I don't know if he only paints with yellow paint. Yeah, okay. So anyway, I'm gonna... I think it's switched over to maple spray. Hold on, let me check. Okay, just gonna... I'm gonna start the study so I don't take forever. So it's gonna be let's do a pillow. It's actually, it's not a drawing, it's a photograph of me. So let me see. Where's... Alright, so studying. Whoa, shit. This is not my drawing, by the way. I just really like this drawing. Still open. Okay. They use non-traditional color picking methods. Whatever you see on my Photoshop right now is how I pick color. I did use the HSB stuff over here if I need to, the top right, but I like to pick it manually on the palette thing, so. So it can kind of be both for practice or finished pieces. So a practice can be finished pieces. So if I'm practicing rendering, I would have to finish the piece for me to practice it. So a lot of the stuff I did this year is finished because I needed to practice the last part of making a painting, which is rendering. But I think as the year progressed, like give me another 3 months, I would look back at the stuff today and I would think they're like sketches because hopefully I progressed a bit more. And that's how I feel about like earlier 2024 stuff. So I would say I'm improving fairly steadily right now. So like when I look back at like stuff I did 12 months ago, it looks like it's incomplete. And it's just because I pushed details a little more and I can see a little better. And I think that's true for most people that are kind of currently improving, right? Like you look back at stuff 2 years ago and you're just like, who did this? Like, it's not me. I didn't do this. So. Good afternoon. Here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I said I'll start, so let me start right now. Take forever. Okay, so it's gonna be a simple drawing. The pillow thing. I'll start with color. No reason not to. Ooh, let's not do that. That's good. Yeah, it's gonna be like the cloth study thing again. I'll probably study it one more time after this because I wanted to get a little better at it. So Yes, I always listen to music when I study or when I draw in general. Hopefully this doesn't take more than like an hour and a half. I don't think it will. If it does, then it does. And if it takes longer than like 2 hours, I'll finish it off stream, but probably won't push details that hard. I don't really need to study how to render uh, simple geometries like cloth. Or rather, the details of cloth is pretty simple. Okay. Yeah, I did study statues for a bit, and I did run into cloth. I never paid too much attention to it, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's a good way to study if you can pay attention to it. Like usually when you study statue, you're like, I want to focus on the face, right? Or face or anatomy or stuff like that. But and that's good if you focus on things. My favorite anime is Steins Gate. The reference is posted in the Discord. Most of my reference will be posted on Discord, especially the weekly studies. The weekly studies are in Vault, or no, not Vault. It's just called Weekly, and you can see the multiple weeks in there. What do you mean how? And what do you mean channel? Do you mean YouTube or do you mean Instagram and Twitter? Lines are slow to me, so I don't like using lines. And same reason why I don't like using layers. So even though this would probably benefit from like layers being used, I'll just paint over it because it's more comfortable to me. It's like you don't really get layers. Well, you can, but you don't really get too much layering options for painting in real life, right? So if they can do it, then why can't I do it? And people get scared for just doing no layers, but I don't understand the fear too much because I never really stuck to layers too much. Yeah, this kind of looks like a pillow, right? So here, do you guys want me to talk through the study, or do you guys want me to just talk about random shit? Either one's fine. I don't really care. Oh, so YouTube, I mean, I started Instagram first, and then Instagram kind of turned into shit after a while. I mean, it's still kind of, I post there often because that's just what I do. But it's been flooded by a lot of just memes, and I feel like I'm at the point where I want longer form content anyway. So the only way to do that is through streaming, which is like Twitch, or if you use Instagram streams, which it's just terrible resolutions and format. So only other real option is YouTube to make longer form videos. Some things I can describe in video. So for example, the latest video is something I really wanted to make, but I can't really draw that. It's not possible to describe that in an image the same way you can do in a video. So that's why I wanted to make videos. And I already streamed on Twitch, so a little bit. And before that, I made a course on uh, Colosso, so that required me to have a lot of video time. I got used to just talking in the mic from 100 hours of talking into the mic. Yeah, I'm hoping like if I just keep talking, it's not annoying. Like some people might want to just listen to the music and have me shut up and draw. I don't know. So. No, I don't do art as a full-time job. My full-time job is nothing related to art. Art's more like a hobby right now. Still. I do make a little bit of money from it. But if I do art as a full-time job, I'll starve to death. So right now I'm like spending a lot of extra time making sure that the overall shape is what I want. And at the same time making a little bit of landmarks. Maybe I'll hit gradient. Start hitting gradients. Yeah, the easier the study is, or the simpler the study is, the more I can talk without my brain shutting down. Okay, so here. Not too worried about colors right now. Mostly worried about the value, overall value, and the shape of the individual values. It's more important. So here's the funny thing, like I don't understand why people are so like, they're more impressed with the folds than just like a face study, but folds are easier than faces. Faces require like a higher level of accuracy, whereas folds, you can make them any shape you want. It's kind of like drawing a rock. If you're off a little bit, nobody cares. You won't really notice either. So as long as you're understanding the form and your shadow profile makes sense, like physically, then it would look pretty convincing. But with drawing people, you need all that, and on top of likeness, like accuracy and proportion. So it's way harder. I mean, I draw some of the folds structurally, and then some of them I draw like shape. In terms, like just looking at the shape, but some I have to do structurally. No, I don't have to, but it looks better if I consider it structural. So for, I guess, realism and folds, especially like the big areas that doesn't reach the threshold for peaking the value range, the devil is kind of in the details. The details are very subtle, that you can catch them. It makes it a lot more believable. Okay. What does it feel like to be so good? I don't know. I'm not that good. Sometimes when I do studies, and like master studies or something, or even contemporary artists, and I look at it, I'm just like, why? How are they doing those things? And yeah, like I can copy it, but that doesn't, like, being able to copy stuff is, or reference things or break down things is only half the equation for making art. Like, my goal is not to be really good at drawing realistic pillows, so this is just a necessary step. You also practice other things when you're drawing pillows. So for example, I can hit the value range like this, because I can shade it like a cylinder. So you're still practicing fundamentals, other types of fundamentals when you do stuff like this. And obviously you're checking the value consistency, like what are you seeing, and you're representing it accurately. Still need to focus on this more than I thought I would have to, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm Dark Rogue 2. Where's Dark Rogue 1? So 2. Yeah, I'm self-taught. I didn't like the idea of how much art school was charging, and I had other plans anyway, so no art school for me. No mentorship either. I wanted a mentor a long time ago, but it was too expensive, so no mentor for me either. And I decided to study a bit of fundamentals and just kind of mentor myself. Like, you know, people always like preach, like you should do this, you should do that, and I do some that I do some of that too. And then one day I just clicked, why don't I just preach to myself and mentor myself? Yeah, but at the same time, art school doesn't, at least most of it, don't go at your pace. So, like, you're still in a classroom setting. So if you need to go faster because you're done, then you're wasting your time. But then if you need to go slower because everybody else is done, then you might lose out on important information or important skills that you need to hone more. Like, they're like, oh yeah, fundamentals is like 1 year or like 1.5 year, depending on how the curriculum's laid out. But really, like, is that enough? And maybe for some of the fundamentals it's too much, and then for others it's enough. That's why I think overall mentorship is better, but also more drains your money faster. Uh, I kind of do, but most of my references that I saved are artist reference, so they're like art pieces that I like, or things that I want to learn from other artists. But for things like pillows or whatever, or I don't save them because I know the internet is going to exist, or I can just go outside. So it's I don't really care for saving a bunch of photos. If I'm working on a huge project or bigger project that requires me to grab like 15 references for a piece, then I'll make like a folder for it. Like a folder for temporary reference saving. I can keep track. It's kind of starting to look like a pillow a little bit. I think, yeah, maybe I should knock out some of the forms a little bit more accurately. So usually I don't finish studies on stream because they take me a little too long. Like I would stream for 2 hours and I want to go eat or something, or 2-3 hours. But then sometimes usually it takes like 3 hours, or like 3 to 6 hours depending on what I'm studying. So I kind of feel bad, like, you know, like I did some mining off stream, right? But this time I'll try to finish it. Don't tell Colosso that I'm streaming my. I don't think I'll get in trouble because I'm not giving too much commentary about it. So I made a video about Ganyu as well. Actually, I made several videos about Ganyu. I don't know why I'm called inexperienced client, but okay. So Noxy, your question. I have a kind of a video about that. Let me link it. Let me get it real quick. Where is it? I mean, it's not a direct answer to that question, but I liked anime, and the shift to painting was because I looked at a lot of Western painters, and that's like my main influence. I just saw their painting. I liked it way more than what I saw in anime, especially back in the days when anime wasn't too intricate. Like there's not a lot of anime artists before like 15 or so years ago. Like there were still some, but they're not. I'd say like they have technological limitations that doesn't allow them to work at the resolution most people work at today. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll do that. So, Xiao Di Huang, Ganyu, because Ganyu is the perfect design. It has horns, which gives you a very like a clear orientation for the head. Like perspectively, it's just superior to have horns than not to have horns. That's my final answer. But the blue hair is great. The personality of Ganyu is great. The voice is good. I like bow and arrows, and Ganyu, the Chinese word is sweet rain, and I like rain. That's why my name is Pluvium. Pluvium is like Latin for something related to rain. It's like a variation of it. Yeah, Dark Rogue 2. I don't think if you just want to draw, and if you just want to like get good at drawing, art school is not necessary. Yeah, I don't want to say crazy things like, oh, it will hinder your growth. Because it depends on who the teacher is. It depends on how the curriculum is designed, how fast you learn. But you can, it's perfectly fine to just learn on your own. But the benefit of art school is like you get connections. Like I have no friends who, in general, but I also don't know anybody who draws in real life because I didn't go to art school, and that might be a deal breaker for some people. Like they absolutely want friends. Like I didn't draw to make friends. I draw to paint. I like painting. As I mean, that might make me sound like an asshole, but that's how I approached it. I don't go outside. I'm not gonna hand out anything because I don't want to go outside. Like if I go outside, it's gonna be to the gym or stuff like stuff I like archery or skydiving, stuff like cycling, but not to hand out stuff. I go to I wanted to go to con this year or like the anime convention, but they rejected me. But I mean, if I go to an anime convention and people want to talk to me, that's cool. If people don't, that's cool too, I guess. I'm not too hung up on that anymore, at least. These shape folds are kind of weird. This shape needs to be a little thinner. Oh, I'm like 95. And I'm not rich. I'm like average income because I do have like a day job. So what the hell? Oh, I mean, I can make connections in the Discord for sure, and I try to, but I don't go out of my way to meet people in real life because I don't. Like most random people I meet, I don't. Historically, I have no interest interacting with them, just because the interests don't align, not because like I hate people or anything. And so most people are like, uh, they're nice, and they'll be like, "You want to hang out," which usually means drinking or like food at random times, and that I don't really care about that. Like I hate the taste of alcohol, so I can't drink. Then that eliminates most people, how people hang out, and most people don't like to do stuff. I think I mentioned this before, but like they hang out and then they, kind of just chill, and that's great. But I get bored if I'm not doing stuff. More like Which is like, I could be doing stuff. Why would I not do stuff? But if people wanted to like study fundamentals with me, that would be great. But so far, I don't think people like fundamentals that much. And it's always been kind of wild to me that people don't, because I always liked it. Like, oh, it's interesting because you get to draw stuff, like a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff to learn. So, like, how could people not like this? But people like whatever they like. So I'm sure other people say the same thing about me. It's like, oh, how could you not like drinking or hanging out with friends because that's so cool? And actually, that sounds more sane. Or like at least, okay, I like going to the gym and working out. So I would tell people like, oh, do you want to work out at the gym? And most people don't like that. So like they would try it for a little bit and then they don't. It's not like the priority. Yeah, I'm not saying no, everybody should just not make friends and draw and stuff, but it's not for me. At least from the people that I've met so far. So I just draw by myself. Well, now I have viewers. I don't even know how many people are here. That's crazy. Like 84 people. Never thought I would get 84. Like when I was streaming on Twitch, it's usually like 20 people. So I mean 20 people is still a lot, right? Like if you think about if you draw in real life and there's like 20 people watching you, granted some people are probably AFK, just kind of passively watching, but 80 is definitely a lot. Now, what was the statistics? Like most streamers don't have more than 10 people, so yeah, crazy. Yeah, I heard that the discoverability of Twitch is crap because it's like literally it's made for a stream, but nothing else. You don't really put content. I think you can put like clips and stuff, but who goes to Twitch to watch clips? You just go to YouTube for clips, so it's kind of. Wait, what sounds scary? Uh, no, I do not smoke weed. So I don't like any type of intoxication. So no, like no type of drugs or like alcohol, like any type of things that would slow me down or like alter how I function. I don't like it just because I find it more effective if I don't do those things. Like I tried weed once because my friend's like, oh, you gotta try it, it's the best thing ever. So I tried it and I remember before it like knocked me out completely because I took like inhaled as much as my lung can take it and knocked me out after like I would say I wasn't functioning properly after like a minute. And before that, I remember telling my friends like, I hate you. I don't see how this is fun, and I'll never do it again. So, and it knocked me out for like 6 hours solid. Like I couldn't draw, I couldn't exercise, couldn't do anything. I'm like, this is terrible. It's like being sick, right? It feels like being sick to me. I'm sure like there's the argument like it's different strands or like oh you get like the difference between body height or head height, stuff like that. I don't really understand because I've only done it once. And yeah, at that point I'm just like, if weed is made to make you relax, so relaxed that uh, you function less optimally, that means I can draw less Ganyu, and that's not okay with me. Like, I'm seriously saying that's not okay with me because I could draw less. You know, why would I make myself draw less? I'm already short on time. Like, I have not made progress. Is this what yapping does to you? Just forget that you're drawing. This is why I study slower when I'm streaming. I read the chat. It's not a bad thing. It's just a little different from how I usually study on my own before I started streaming. So right now I'm risking rendering details because I think it's an like kind of like an anchor point, and I wanted to get a bit more resolution or like confidence in where I'm placing things. So I'm putting in some details, but I really should not do that. Really shouldn't do that. I think my highlights are a little low, or my darks are not dark enough. I think it's the highlights. And kind of hard to avoid rendering detail when most of the pillow itself is pretty empty. So I have to focus on like the corners and the folds. That's a good study though. You're focused on what you're trying to study. So I'm trying to see if there's bounce light on the side of the pillow, but I don't see any. But I would assume there would be. Well, oh shit, I haven't saved. The color wheel is big so that I can pick colors more accurately. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you paint in real life, you have a color palette that's like the size of your hand at least. I have a 24-inch screen. This is approximately the size of my hand. So I wish it was bigger, but I don't have a bigger screen, so. I don't actually like I guess it would be accurate to call it hyperrealism, but I don't like hyperrealism, especially when I'm studying. I would try like a tiny bit of it and you wouldn't be able to notice, but that's about it. I don't like it's like the grunge look where it's like you're shading, you're bubble shading everything, but kind of accurately. I don't like that look, so probably won't do that. Let's do realism first, a little bit. I don't even know if this is considered realism. I think it's like a mix of real and impressionism, but Monet's not alive, so I can't ask him. Ink, like in real life. I do doodle sometimes with my ink pen. but very not often. And if I do, it's like very quick. I know, like, lines are not my main focus. It probably will never be my main focus. I want to get good at it, but that's... I would never make it, like, my main style of art, using lines. There's a lot of detail in this. Not a lot, but there's some structure in the within the fold that I'll have to get later. Zoom in, but I'll mark the places first. So I did 2 oil classes with someone uh that paints a lot of, like, in a lot of oil, and she had an interesting way of describing how I paint in real life. Just because, like, the method is something that she doesn't see often, I guess. Like, because I trained on digital mostly, so I try to transfer some of my, say, techniques or workflow to oil. There's some of it works and some of it doesn't, but you should call it like carving the oil out. I mean, that was kind of interesting. Black and white is, I wouldn't say more fun, but it's easier to study with. Right now, this is technically not a black and white. I'm just not using as much saturation as I should yet. But there is color in this. It's almost monochrome. Actually, it might be monochrome. I forgot if I changed the hue or not. But it is colored. Sometimes you study and you realize there's more details than you assumed when you first looked at the picture. Yeah, that's me right now. I have to hit some highlights because I'm running out of range to work with. Yeah, okay. Oh, how I'm sitting. So I have the tablet up. This is for infectious. I have the tablet up like 60, 70 degrees. So it's like pretty steep. So most people lay their tablet down almost like against the surface of the table, and they'll hunch over the tablet, like tower over the tablet so they can see it flat, see like all of it. I actually like it when it's put up a little bit, kind of like a canvas or like a oil painting canvas in real life, or like the easel is adjusted so that you're facing the painting like straight, so that you don't get any foreshortened distortion on it. What the heck? So the reference on another screen is because if you put it on the same screen, you start comparing the height and everything. So now you're like gridding, or you're trying your best to grid against, like, if you place it side by side on the same screen, you'll start comparing like little details, and then you forget to focus on the overall shape. And it also practices observation less. So if you're drawing from real life, you're looking up at your subject or whatever you're looking at, and then you're looking down on your canvas and you try to transfer some of it by like your immediate memory. If you do it with having the subject on the same screen as your drawing, then you can't really practice that portion of observational skills. So now you're kind of like shortchanging yourself. At that point, you might as well start gridding. Like if you're comparing side by side, like, and you're, I'll say being too meticulous, but you're focusing on the wrong thing sometimes, and then yeah, no, it's like it's not exactly tracing, but it has a similar effect. I do zoom when I need to or want to render details. I don't need to, but yeah, I try to, like, it's not because I'm trying to mimic traditional artists that I'm not zooming. It's because you keep your focus on the main, like the big picture, and that's a really good habit to have. So I try like not to zoom as much as I can, because yeah, zooming gets you too much into the details, and that's bad, really bad. Like, I'm already, without zooming, I'm already getting too much into the details. So what I should do right now is I should zoom out. So because I can still see some of the details at this zoom, and it helps me focus on the overall gradient, overall picture and value of the entire image. Like, if you start rendering a single fold, then it's pretty easy to just tunnel vision. Oh. The bigger form is almost always more important. Alright, for the more important parts, I will not read chat for like a few minutes so that I can make sure that I get the overall image correct. Oh, there's like bounce light that's red on the bottom of the pillow. That's interesting. Didn't notice that before. Oh, how do I do that. Overcome perfectionism. I don't know how to answer that question. I guess having a hierarchy of what is important to the picture, like I'm assuming in the context of drawing, like what you want to get out of it, or what I want to get out of it, is like a picture that looks good, and then you define what looks good means, and then you just focus on those criteria. Once you meet those criteria, then you can drop it, but then you want to focus on the most important criteria first, instead of, you know, you say like, oh, I'm a perfectionist, so I look at details and I can't let go of when certain things are off. But if you're a perfectionist, then you should optimize for perfection, right? You should make the image as close to perfect as fast as possible. So in that case, you don't really have to throw away perfectionism. Just have to find out what's important to satisfy your perfectionism. You know, someone said, I forgot whose quote it is, the paintings are never finished, they're abandoned. I don't fully agree with that term or that saying, because I think a painting can be finished. Like it can be considered perfect with a certain criteria. So yeah, you won't ever get perfect realism, but most of the time when you're painting, you're not trying to paint perfect realism. It's rare that that's a requirement. You guys falling asleep yet? think it's a good time to zoom in now because I think it's safe to hit some of the details. Wonder if I should just... I think I can just use an airbrush. And that might be the best option because there's no hard edges in some of the center areas. So I think airbrush will give me the best results. Yeah, it does. Yeah, round brush wins again, so. So Michael5923, I wrote something about learning fundamentals on my Discord server for it's like a crit channel for myself, like a critique channel for myself where I just give myself critiques. It's also like a pretty big part of the course that I have on Colosso, so I there's no way for me to answer you because it takes me 20 hours to answer that question. So the brush size or killer brush size is if you hold Alt on Photoshop, if you hold Alt and then hit right click drag, you can change the brush size. For Clip Studio, it's just right click. Texture yet. Texture is usually the last thing. Oh, in this case, it would be the last thing. I don't think I changed the default setting for Clip Studio, but can't guarantee that. Red is too strong. I will not stream the Taiki setting or study because every one of you would fall asleep. I would not talk, and it would just be 6 to 8 hours of me grinding the study, so I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, I think that one's pretty difficult. I don't know how difficult yet, but I imagine it wouldn't be easy in any standard, so. Yeah, the color wheel's big because I can pick more accurately. It's pretty important for me to get like a tiny difference picked accurately, whether it's for color or value. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can study off any of my drawing if you like, but I recommend just studying off photo instead, because if you study off my drawings, you're gonna pick up my mistakes too, and that's bad. Wait, what do you mean long? I barely started drawing today. Mm, I like drawing, I guess. Like yeah, I would say I kind of like drawing. Like, I don't really have anything better to do. Yeah, there's a photo reference. It's on the Discord. Can't post it here, I think, but what do I struggle the most? Trees. Trees are hard. Trees are really hard. So blue water, the decision on this developing a style. That's also part of what I wrote in the crit log. So, I mean, if you read that, you'll get most of it. But if you have specific questions I haven't answered there, then I'll try to answer it. But to discuss stylization could take a little bit of time. Oh. So I'm seeing these forms on the flat area of the pillow that I didn't previously see when I first looked at the reference. They're like very, very subtle. It's good practice. Ooh, there's like a little bit of blue. So, totally missed that. Let's draw blue. You know what? It would be faster for me to draw blue with color there. So, let's hit everything that's blue highlights. So like, I wonder what the logic for the blue on the pillow is. That's interesting. So I think the main light source is white, but the sky in the reflection or whatever they're doing has a blue atmospheric. So the ambient occluded areas, or not the ambient occluded, the areas that receive more atmospheric lighting is more blue and green. And then the area that is bounced light from the wall is yellow. And the table is bouncing pink. For some reason. I think it might be the wood grain. And then we have green in between for the terminators because you have brown, reddish, whatchamacallit, walls, and then bluish light. But when the red is traveling to the bright side, I think it loses some of that redness, so maybe it goes to green. I think it will look pretty okay if I drop it in. So let's hit blue on the face, and then we'll hit green on the like bluer, like higher saturation greenish blue. On the, I don't want to call it ambient occluded, I don't think that's accurate, but on the surface that is in the light but still facing away from the light. Right here. And then everything on the terminators. So it's a very big, soft conversion here. And then hit red. Background. This kind of. Is it yellow? It's like very low saturation red. And it's gonna be a little exaggerated, but that's fine. Right here. Oops. So yeah, definitely bouncing red over the top, because I think the light, you can see the right wall is receiving a lot of light, a lot more light than the left wall, so the light is more to the left, and you can see on the pillow. So the bounce light will be from the right, and every face that's terminating towards the right is going to be a little bit red, unless it's blocked by the pillow itself. So like this area I'm coloring right now, the reflected light from there would be white, because it's not, you're not seeing the wall from that angle. So right here, and then this is, so as it goes down the pillow, it turns into yellow because it's bouncing light from both the wall and the table now. So it'll be like orange here. I haven't locked in the values here. And then whatever's facing this way would be blue. This one would be blue. Then it'll be blue here. Orange on that face. And even the small surfaces on the top of the pillow is having that kind of lighting pattern, so I'll add a little bit in. Ooh, too much. So I have the basic colors laid out here, and then I'll just start color picking whatever I have on the canvas. The red down here is okay. Some of the folds are dirty, and I'll probably render that in later. Right now, let's just get the big colors. There's a bit of red here. I think there's green on the left. There must be some object that is green. outside of the frame that is reflecting off like the tangent surfaces. So you can see a little bit of green here. And a little bit of green in the folded areas. Don't know how it's doing that, so put that in. I think the red on top extends a little more. I'm gonna drop the color a little bit more later because it's too exaggerated. But let me bring up the light. Actually, I think my contrast is just too high. Yeah, my contrast here is way too high for some reason. Skill issue. Oh, sorry, I ignored it. Chat. Ignored chat for a little bit. Let me get the values corrected first, because I'm gonna forget. Okay, that's a little bit better, I think. I forgot to hit this area with green, so let me do that. It's too much up there. And I think there's like some I guess the best word I have is dissonance for the colors. It's kind of a music term, but I'll use it. So what I'm gonna do is put a filter on it. Kind of drown out the color a little bit. Like some major issues with the pillow itself are contrast, form. Like the form is off. I don't know how to fix it. It's not even off by that much. The clarity for some of the parts are kind of unacceptable. Yes, the reference is in the Discord. My canvas size is 8,000 pixels. Alright, I forgot to look at the stream. I like to draw in music and art feedback videos. I've been procrastinating on that. I should. The reason why I haven't done that is because I'm improving on my studies, and so I don't want to stop studying. Like, I'm not stuck anywhere, so I just keep studying, and I can't drop enough time on it right now. sometimes I get a little stuck and then I start doing other stuff, like I make emotes and stuff. So when I'm making emotes, that's probably me being stuck a little bit on studies. Yes, I'm a K6 6J TJ. Yeah, I'm a guy. Last I checked. Who is Ganyu? Ganyu is a character from Genshin. But I will maintain the headcanon that Hoyo stole Ganyu from me. I don't know if it's good study for clothing for characters, but it's good study for form. Clothing for characters wraps around different forms, and that will be a study on its own. So I actually have some references for clothing, like a person in clothes, and I want to study that later. So I'm just delaying the inevitable of studying that one artist that has a lot of details. Can I draw myself in 10 seconds? I mean, I can draw something in 10 seconds. I don't know how good or pleasant it will be to do that. So one thing I need to practice doing is looking at these shapes. Like, I'm cutting out the shapes as I see them, kind of. But I'm not 100% paying attention to the form of the pillow, so I should look at the form of the pillow and then assume what shape it will take, or what shape of shadow it will make, and then shade those things out instead of just following the shapes themselves. It's like you can alter the shapes a little bit and still be okay, or you can alter it a lot and still be okay, as long as your lighting information is consistent and your material is the same, like your coloring is consistent stuff. Right now I'm kind of in the very low contrast area, and it's like, it is a little bit hard because like it's harder to see the changes in form. Take this out a little bit. Oops. Like, I don't really know what the pillow is doing in certain areas. Blackout and Aina are original characters from me, yes. Ooh, so this might be interesting. Actually gonna go in and detail this pretty important part of the pillow. So here's where most people miss things, details, and it makes a pretty big difference if you pick stuff up like this. I haven't gone to it yet, but I will in a second. So most people will look at the reference and this is what they draw. Like they just do this and then they're done with this area. It looks okay. Like it doesn't look too off. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of details that is missed if you don't look carefully. That's why I say when you study, you need to be very careful about your references and what you pick up from it, because the more detail you pick up from it, the more you learn. Like, you're like, oh, that's how light works. So, and this is like, for me at least, this is the important part of this, the study. So if you zoom in on this curve or this fold right here, there's actually, like, yeah, it looks like this, but as far as I know and see, most artists don't see that there's a very, very thin bounce light on the bottom. And let me show you the difference. So there's a bounce light, and logically it makes sense, right? Because it's really close to the surface, but it's small because the fold is really sharp. It's like almost technically difficult to put in because of how small it is. And then every curve, well, not every curve, but at least this curve has it, is has a terminator. So I'm gonna squeeze the terminator a little bit up. So you gotta pay attention where the form changes. It's turning into a tutorial. I didn't intend to turn it into a tutorial, but this is a pretty important part. So we'll drop the light. This is one of the important parts where I have the wheels, the color wheel this big because of things like this. So we'll go in and then we'll pick this color. I know the terminator is slightly darker than that, so I'll move it like slightly darker and slightly more saturated. I know it's green, so I will go a little dark and then go a little more green, and that's my color. And it actually gets darker here, so I'm gonna have to manually draw that gradient. More green. And now we can carve out this part. Like, because I have the values here now, I can choose the value relatively and then carve out the neighboring forms. I know this is even darker, so I'll go darker. Like, it's much easier to pick it relatively, pick the colors relatively, than to like look at it and pick a completely new color. And then I'll draw out the forms, like the kind of like rolls here. Let's detail this. This shape, I want the form to be correct. So let's do this, and then carve out the outline for. It's like it's three bumps here, and then we have the ambient occlusion up here. I don't think it's that dark, but we'll deal with that later. Terminator is on the other side. This blue is a bit too dark and too saturated, so I'll move it up a little bit. So I want this curve to be a little cleaner. I don't need it to be super clean, but the form is too dirty right now, so. And then this curve right here. This fold itself has a cast shadow. If you zoom in enough, you can see the cast shadow. It's the cast shadow from the first ridge to the second ridge. So, and then it's light in the middle. Terminator is like the transition between the light and shadow, like a soft-ish transition. It's a combination of subsurface scattering, and usually it's a combination of subsurface scattering and ambient occlusion. As far as I know, it's just from experience. Okay, so I think that's okay. This is actually a little dark. So I think, well, this part's not done yet, but I think it'll be easy to see the difference. So I need to take out the like it's too dark, so. A little better. Okay, so here's the difference between that and that. I think the Terminator needs to be a little dark. Yeah. Just or not the Terminator, the ambient occlusion. So the bottom of the crease. Inside of the crease. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Aina's the one with white hair. Etona also has white hair. Blackout has black hair. I mean, I zoom in only when I need to. Like, if I'm getting pixelation from my brush movement because I'm moving so small, then I'll zoom in. Yeah, it's a pillow study. Is triangle better? Yes, well, to me, triangle is better for picking colors, but there are people who use both square and triangle. I think triangle, well, not I think, it does have a better value consistency for up and down. Am I proud of myself? No. So, I'm gonna keep working on this. I think the effect is a little bit too exaggerated. The screen is too much. Just I try to study the cool artist style like is like Danny, Guiz, Wallop. Still don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but I like the more painterly artists. I'm taking a long time carving out this pillow. It's longer than I thought. Yeah, so this is why I don't blend and why I have a huge color wheel. So if, let's say, I wanted to hit this gradient, I know it's between this color and this color, then I can just pick the middle color and brush over it. Instead of, like, I just want to use the brush, I don't want to use blend tools or whatever. It also helps with, like, looking consistent, because you're using a consistent method to achieve different shapes and stuff, so Koan sound, actually, without S, Koan sound. I usually stream for, oh man, it's already been an hour 40. No, it's been 2 hours I streamed, but I did this pillow for an hour 40 minutes. No, so what I did was I spent 2 years or 1 and something year studying values, and once I get pretty good at discerning different values, like very low differences in values, I started studying colors, and I just applied the same concept of looking at differences for both of those things. And if you hold it to a similar standard, then you should be able to achieve similar results in accuracy, I guess. There's these ridge highlights on the ridges that I really want to achieve. And there's these folds. They're like a wrinkle in the pillow, but they're not forms. They're just little fluctuate. Well, I mean they are, but they're fluctuations in surfaces because it's like it's not ironed. And I think we can trick the eye a little bit with that. Uh, and it's pretty simple if we just low opacity do this a couple times. So there, it's like manually creating the texture of folds, like wrinkling cloth. Like we have a lot of detail in the folded areas of the pillow, but not a lot of detail in the open areas, even though there are detail, just way less contrast. But I don't want to just dismiss those things. Everything down here. And then for each of these ridges, I think it has its own bounce light on the bottom. There's like this really nice looking form here. Let's carve it out. Kind of like it bends around that very strong fold. Sorry, I'm kind of ignoring chat because I'm at a kind of important part of the study. It requires me to pay attention to like more detailed stuff. I don't want to misread any of the forms. I'm not a musician, and I've studied water briefly. I should go back to study it again, but yeah. There's so many things on the list to study. Oh, this one's off. Okay. I need to hit bigger forms. I'm losing the form on the details, and it's kind of bothering me. Fix that. Yeah, maybe I did zoom in too early. That's a little better. Well, the pillow's not done yet, so you can't borrow. Okay. So, I'm gonna test something on the pillow later. But this will be interesting. There is bounce lights this side. I do not have a stream schedule because I have no idea when I'm going to stream. But I have a rough time that I do stream. I just don't have anything that I can commit to. I stream whenever I can and comfortable. It's not like I'm trying to be a full-time YouTuber, so my focus is still drawing. Ooh, that's interesting. There's like these little dirts on the pillow. Oh wait, actually, let's not do that first. Let's finish the form. It's too dark. So this curves around like that. The maple syrup song. So I kind of want to draw the texture for the table as well a little bit. So it does help with the perspective. I'll roughly draw it in. Actually, I want to switch this on, so. The wall's actually receiving bounce light from the pillow itself. Did not notice that before. Cast shadow on the wall from the pillow. And then ambient occlusion. I might actually have to select this. I don't want to deal with. Can I do that? Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. Nice. So I'm gonna try to get a clean line on the table. So now I can do the ambient occlusion cleaner. Even though I'm on one layer. And then there's cast shadow on the table itself. So the table is resting almost against the wall, but not completely. So there's like a little bit of cast shadow. Like that. Maybe not that strong. I think Krita is fine. I don't think there's any issues with it. But if there's like a feature you absolutely want in a certain software, then yeah, you should go for it. But if you don't really have anything like that, then whatever software you're using is probably fine. The color is actually really dirty in the dark area. I don't like it. So this thing, this stroke here, that's like white, I'm not gonna like brighter. I'm not gonna take it out just because I think it looks nice with the form. So I'll just leave it in. It's not like I have to absolutely render the hell out of everything, so. Get to. Oops. Oh god. Okay. Get to. Table. Table texture. I'm just gonna kind of bullshit it in with a no opacity brush. That dark. Oh, actually. The perspective is a little bit off, but I don't care because it's a pillow and a table. At least it's consistent. Some really thin lines there I'm not going to care about for now. Because I think I can just brush it over with, yeah, there you go. And just brush it over like this. It's convincing enough. Oops. Not to worry how many bands there are. Just the overall feel of the bands. And then I think it's a little bit more dark red here. Like cast shadow I didn't hit, so I'll brush it in, but I'll leave it pretty janky. Oh my god, that's too janky. Holy shit. Okay, I don't think people are gonna be too mad at me for that. The wacky part. Okay, there's like big stripes here. I don't know if it's the stripes or the shadows being darker, but I like how it frames the pillow itself. Draw those into. Ooh. So bounce light here. Please. And the bounce light here makes sense because it's like directly facing the source of light. Oops. It's dark here. Maybe not that dark. Oh, this pillow would not become gone, but I'm going to try something in a bit that will be interesting. show you guys why learning form is good. Besides the drawing part. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. It is, kind of, but I'm just gonna merge it, so it doesn't really matter. It's on the same layer now. Doesn't really affect it if it's on a different layer. No. Ooh, so there's this interesting thing. I have to do this on a different layer. Easier. There's bounce light from the pillow itself to the table, and vice versa, but like right here. Didn't notice it before, but not this heavy. I can just dim it a little bit. It's like right there. Yeah. So one thing we can do with the pillow, if we know form, where's my... As you know, I have my logo. Yeah, it's a class study. Where's my logo? Sticker, please. Okay. So I have a Ganyu sticker that I drawn a long time ago. So it looks like this. And what I could do is rasterize. Oh my god, do not know Photoshop. So the thing with form is I can redraw this. So this is like a kind of like an overlay. And I know I want black, so what I'm going to do is get it in the relative position first. So let's wrap. So because there's sprinkles here, it's going to be squeezed on the right. And I don't think it'll be stretched because the pillow is not that the pillow's not built that much, so it won't be stretched. But I think I need to correct the perspectives a little bit. because we have foreshortening on the surface of the pillow. So let's do that. So if we consider the perspective of the surface of the pillow plus the squish, then we can lay this in pretty well. And then it will fold on itself, so I'll have to redraw some of this. Whoops, please. Wait, is this not pure black? Let me change it to... And then... Okay. Actually, I need to see the folds to be able to do it. Okay, so I know it folds in here, so let's make it fold. Let's take this out. Okay, let's not take all of it out. Uh, I don't know. I just like on you. This is some kind of pattern. Yes, the pattern will reflect light differently, but it depends on how the pattern is printed on the cloth itself. So hard to say. If it's weaved, it would not be shiny, I think. Not sure how to make it more realistic. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a skill issue. Can do it. Let's see. So the line. Would be something like this. Right? Yeah, I put a little bit of green on the pillow. I'm not really going for color accuracy so much as consistency in applying the logic. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it uh, done for now. I don't think I can get more out of it. But let's see. Yeah, I don't think I can get too much more out of it. Oh, hi. I'm just about to finish the stream, actually. I'm like stuck. It's stuck on the study. And I don't think I'll push it any further than this. I might change the green a little bit because it's weird, but let me see. Ganyu. Yeah, the Ganyu doesn't look like it's placed well enough. I might just have to draw it manually if I want a Ganyu on the pillow, but a failed attempt at putting Ganyu on the pillow, so like it's too complex of a shape on another complex shape. Let's get the green. Actually, the green is fine, I think. And the red needs to be, or the yellow needs to be more. Or maybe there's no yellow. Let's check the range. It's mostly fine. There's still like a little bit of stuff that I can do, like it's like some crisscross of folds here, kind of like how the external obliques overlap the two layers on a human body. So this is kind of not good. Yeah, I painted a little bit of the texture of the wood, but I didn't go too far into it. I kind of want to do like little, like the finer textures, but I don't think I want to spend time on it. There's some stuff I'm not happy about, but mostly rendering issues. Can't be too mad about them. My concern is still mainly if the form is accurate enough, but yeah, I'm gonna call it. So I think 3 hours is a long enough stream. I don't put a number on the render percentage, just like case by case. Like, do I care enough about certain details? Like, I can go in and render each grain of the wood, but I don't think it's meaningful. So yeah, I'm about to get out of here, and thank you guys for joining. I might do more study in the Discord server later on, and it'll just be another study later. Not really. There's not a whole lot of difference between a guy's neck and a girl's neck besides the Adam's apple. So I think I don't make any distinction between them except for the Adam's apple. So yeah, I'll post this thing later. I'll save it and whatever. But yeah, thanks for joining. I am going to close the stream. And if you guys haven't seen the newer video that I uploaded like a day or 2 days ago, please go check it out if you guys have time. It's like 7 minutes long, so yeah. Alright, see you guys.